Alright, welcome back everybody to another episode of Chris Boggle's Album Club. As usual, of course, today we will be doing two albums. We'll kind of give initial impressions here at the beginning, then we'll give our thoughts once we listen to them, then we'll say which album we like better, and at the end I will reveal who picked the albums. Alright, today with me I have Ben,
Solidarity.
Matthew.
Oh yeah!
Alright, well, you all ready to hear what the albums are?
Yep.
Alright, well, today's albums are Teasel and the Firecat by Cat Stevens and Rory Gallagher by Rory Gallagher.
What?
Two albums. Very clear. Initial impressions, we're going to start with you, Ben.
I thought Cat Stevens albums. Let me see if I can remember if this was one of them. I mean, I know. I feel like I probably heard this album like when I was a little kid, probably. I do know the songs Moonshadow and Peace Train right offhand. Like both of those songs are very familiar to me. In terms of Rory Gallagher, no, no. I have not encountered that before. Which I feel like I've heard of it though. That's like he's a guitarist, I believe. Like a guitarist, like a blues rock, I think is what that is. So with Teasel and Firecat, I probably have heard it when I was like a little kid or something. Rory Gallagher, no, I've never heard that. Don't know any songs on that. So yeah, that's my thoughts, I guess.
I will note, both these albums were actually from the same year, 1971. Alright, Matthew, what are your initial impressions?
At first, when you said the Cat Stevens one, I thought you were talking about a different album. I thought you were talking about the one that had father and son. I was like, oh, I've heard of that album.
Yeah, that's Teeth of a Tillerman, but no.
Okay. Yeah, and then I was like, I've heard, of course, that Cat Stevens. I've heard songs from this album, but I'm going to go with an open mind with this one. As for Rory Gallagher self-titled, I have not. I believe in my life I have not heard of Rory Gallagher's album, less a song. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go listen to them.
Alright, well, as for my initial impressions, I know Cat Stevens, I know some of these songs from this album, not all of them, I don't think I've heard the full album, but I know Moonshadow, I know Peace Train, it's basically the same thing Ben said, really, for me, on it. As for Rory Gallagher, I've heard of him, I know I've seen some people on, like, Classic Rock Children, whatever, seem to be big fans of him. I've never listened to one of his albums, or I don't even think even one of his songs, but I knew he was a guitarist, I'm sort of familiar with the name. It's something I've probably been meaning to listen to here for a while, and should be good to kind of see what all the fuss is about. Might be nothing, might be something, we'll just have to see. I'm going into this one with open ears, as with Cat Stevens one, I mean, I think I know how I'm going to feel about it, but as for Roy Gallagher, going into it with open ears, we'll see. And I'm certainly unsure by the end of this video as to which album I will pick, because, you know, with some of those ones I go in and it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I know which one of these is going to be better. This one, I have no clue, so it should be fun. Might anyone have any final thoughts before I do the cliffhanger?
Well, if you want to sing out, sing out. And if you want to be free, be free. And if you want to listen to these albums, go listen to these albums.
And we'll be right back after we've done just that, so stay tuned. Alright, we've gone a list of albums, and now we're back to give our thoughts on them. The first album was Teasel and the Firecat by Cat Stevens, and we are going to start, as usual, with you, Ben. What were your thoughts on this album?
Cats.
Okay.
My favorite Andrew Lloyd Webber musical.
Yeah. No. Teasel and the Firecat was a good album. I kind of liked how some of the songs seem pretty breezy on it. As I said before we went and listened to the album, I obviously never sung Moonshadow very well. Already never sung Peace Train very well. I would say the other song that stood out to me, and partially because I was like, yeah, I know this song pretty well. How had I forgotten about it? Is Morning Has Broken. I know that song pretty well too. I would say I also like Tuesday's Dead. Um, and Changes Fall. But I didn't dislike any songs. But yeah, I would say the soundtracks all across Peace Train, Moon Shadow, and Morning Has Broken.
Matthew.
I actually quite enjoy this album. It's a very breezy album. It's a very calm album. It's an album you listen to probably during the springtime or the fall when you're taking walks. I wouldn't say it was like one of my favorites that we have listened to, but I've enjoyed myself.
All right. Now for my thoughts. I liked this album quite a bit. I do think it has the problem. Well, it's kind of like a bit backloaded. Like I felt like side two was a lot better than side one. Um, Side one's alright. The first two songs are pretty good. If I Laugh's pretty good. Changes Fall's pretty good, but they're not as good as I think anything on side two. Except for maybe The Bell and Morning Has Spoken. Morning Has Spoken is kind of mid, but side two, really good tracks there. Tuesday's Dead, Bill Blue, Moonshadow, Peace Train. Very, very good kind of lineup on side two. So it's a little bit, not too severely backloaded, but it's a little bit backloaded. It's only kind of has a raise in quality as it goes on, especially once you get to side two. But overall, I do think it is still pretty solid, pretty consistent. Even side one is pretty good. Alright, anyone have anything else to say on this album?
Let's go to the next one.
Alright, well, the next album was um, Rory Gallagher by Rory Gallagher. And we are once again back to you, Ben.
I enjoyed this album. It reminded me of Eric Clapton in some ways, but kind of, especially like slow hand a little bit. But obviously, this is from prior to that. Um, I would say that yeah, it was kind of a nice blues rock with country kind of influences, like on Slow Hand album. It obviously starts out with a very silly track. That at first I was like, Cat Stevens, is this you? In terms of with Laundromat being a kind of a silly track, I would say that the song I enjoyed the most is the final track. Can't Believe It's True. I really like the guitar work on that track. Um, yeah, I would say that's the one that stood out the most to me, and it was a good 7 minutes. But like it was a good 7 minutes. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed, but I enjoyed the totality of the album, but some of it stood out not much to me. Um, but I still enjoyed it.
Matthew.
I thought this album was fine. It kind of reminded me of that. Not really sonically, but kind of like how we felt, what I felt when listening to that Black Rose album. Thought it was fine. It wasn't anything like spectacular or whatnot, but I thought it was a decent time.
Alright, well, I'm up next. I'll agree with Ben. This did kind of sound like Eric Clapton. I thought it sounded more like sort of Duncan and Domino's or Eric Clapton. I thought it sounded kind of reminded me of like I Looked Away from Duncan and Domino's. Just kind of the sound that Rory Gallagher has here. Now, as I said earlier in this video, I wasn't really familiar with Rory Gallagher for doing this. I do think this album kind of suffers the opposite problem of the Cat Stevens one. I think this one's a little bit front loaded. I like some of the songs on the second half, but I would say like the best songs of this album are track two, Just the Smile, and track three, I Fall Apart. Track three in particular, I Fall Apart. I think the best song on here. Most of it's pretty enjoyable as well, but I wouldn't say it was like as big as like those two. I will say that as far as blues goes, yeah, I like this. This has a good sound to it. It's a lot better than the last blues album we listened to. Shout out or shout diss to that False Fleetwood Mac album we listened to. That album was kind of
I was about
boring.
to say, which one was that?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, it was
yeah,
the.
yeah. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's Matthew
I,
didn't even.
I I completely
He
forgot that album.
forgot. He forgot we even listened to it.
Yeah,
I almost forgot. That album was
Wait, who
boring.
forgot what?
he Chris was talking about the last blues rock album we listened to, and I completely blanked.
Ben, do you remember what
But
it was?
It was Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, boring album
you have
as
a better
well.
memory than me.
I would say that I enjoyed this album more.
Yeah,
Just more
that's
like
I would agree.
that's what we were
I would
saying.
agree.
That's what we were saying. Yeah, so this is definitely better than the last. At least me, Ben, and Matthew agree. It's better than the last blues rock album we listened to on the album club. So
Hopefully, we'll
yeah,
listen to. Hopefully, we'll listen to better blues rock albums.
I like this one quite a bit. I mean, obviously we could go listen to like Cream or something anytime we want, but that's not really the
We
point.
can listen to Cream if we want to.
We can leave our friends behind. All right.
That sounds selfish. That sounds bad. Are we
Anyways,
ready to?
yeah, Rory Gallagher, good album. I liked it. All right. Well, anyone have anything else they want to say on this album?
Let's do the roundup. What do we like better?
All right. Okay, and now we're going to say which album each one of us liked better of the two. And we are going to start, as usual, with you, Ben.
I guess I'm going with Teaser and the Firecat, but not by a very large margin. Yeah, I would say Teaser and the Firecat because it does have those like great tracks that Roy Gallagher doesn't have. But it does feel like the like average quality is pretty, or like the median song. Median song is probably better. The median quality is probably about the same, but the average quality is, I would say, of Tears on the Firecat, like the overall quality is higher just because of like those 3 songs that I listed. But this was surprisingly difficult.
All right, Matthew.
Teaser in the Fire Cat, by Cat Stevens.
All right, well, as for me, I said I thought both of these albums, one of them was kind of front loaded, one of them was back loaded. But of course, I did say earlier on in this video, the one I think that did better when it came to pacing and was better when it came to the whole thing where it wasn't as loaded on one side in favor, it wasn't as unbalanced as the other, was Tears on Firecat. I think both these albums were of a similar quality, but were pretty good, but I am voting for Teasel and the Firecat.
I would agree that they're both similar-ish in quality as well.
Alright, well, now we're going to reveal who picked which album. Does anyone want to hazard any guesses as to who picked what?
I'm gonna say either Ben or Santiago picked the Cat Stevens album, or Chris picked the Roy Gallagher one.
Alright, well, time to announce. Both of these albums were picked by the same person.
I got. Wait, I think I might change my mind. I'm gonna say Ben picked both.
It was Ben who picked both, despite the fact that he said he didn't know who Roy Gallagher was at the beginning of this video. Because he's weird.
Yeah, I was freaking out, man. But yeah, I had heard of him before, and I had picked this album to listen to. I hadn't heard it before, but I'd seen people saying that this was like an underrated album of the 70s.
Alright, well,
Which, yeah, I think it probably is.
thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, despite Ben's level scatterbrainedness. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And be sure to stay tuned for more episodes of Chris Bottger's Album Club. We will be doing another debut album next episode. Thank you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See you in the next video.